Channel 10, St. Petersburg, Tampa.
Our regularly scheduled programming will not be televised so that we may bring you the following special presentation.
Good evening from Tampa and welcome as we broadcast live the opening of the Tampa Bay Performing Arts Center.
It is a dream come true after years of planning. It's a great gala and you're going to see it next on Channel 10.
Like a wounded bird in Greek mythology, it has risen from the ashes of frustration and setback. It is the result of 7 years of dreaming, planning, designing, fundraising, and building.
It has taken a massive commitment in private, business, and government funds to give it form. But much more than a building has taken shape on the banks of the Hillsborough River. And to get to this great gala tonight, we go back in time more than a decade.
The dream began many years ago, but took shape on paper in 1974. Dick Greco was mayor. He proposed a theater be included in a city government complex that looked like an amphitheater. The offices were built, much simpler than this, and the theater was shelved.
A year later, 1975, Bill Poe is mayor, and he tries to include a theater as part of a City Hall Annex project and gets a $19 million bond issue passed. The annex later becomes City Hall Plaza. The theater is shelved.
It is the year that Clearwater approves a plan to build its own performing arts center. Projected cost, $9.5 million. It will top $14 million and open 3 years ahead of the Tampa complex.
4 years after Clearwater approves the concept, it is 1979. Bob Martinez proposes several sites for a center that for the first time would not be part of some other municipal project. He has $3.5 million left from the bond issue in 1975.
January 1980, he picks Tampa Electric Chairman H.L. Culbreth to head an elite committee of 15 top business and community leaders. 7 months later, Culbreth declares the project is a definite go. David Midland, a veteran New York theater manager, is chosen to run it and oversee construction of it.
Promoters begin looking at tax money for help and focus on a 1-year-only 1-penny sales tax that would almost pay for the entire project.
The goal from the private sector is set at $10 million. Not sure of the penny tax, and the fundraising campaign proceeds. A seniors group and others mount strong opposition to the tax. They demand no more taxes, and some claim the Tampa project will make the rich richer. And on November 2nd, 1982, the 1-penny tax dies a quick death by a margin of 3-1.
Executive Director David Midland regroups along with center promoters who say the project will go on. 1983 is a decisive year. Tampa's building boom takes hold.
The fundraising draws more results. Governor Martinez looks to a municipal bond issue to help pay for it. Groundbreaking is set for January 1984, about the time Tampa will host its first NFL Super Bowl.
As downtown construction grows, so does the fundraising project.
More big-ticket donors come through. Hugh Culverhouse pumps in $1 million, the largest donation so far. Robert and Lorena Jade, the owners of Shop and Go convenience store chain, come through with $1.5 million. A theater is named for them.
A Clearwater firm wins the low bid to build it for $42.5 million. The city sells a $39 million bond issue to help pay for it.
And on March 29th, 1984, the Olympia Brass Band is here from New Orleans, and an entertainer from Minneapolis orchestrates a show for the groundbreaking. It will take 3 years to build.
The price tag increases. They hit more hard rock than they expected. What had begun as a $12 million project 7 years ago will now cost almost $59 million. It will be larger in scope than originally planned and will become a major landmark comparable in scale to Tampa International Airport and Tampa Stadium. Tonight, the Great Gala.
The Great Gala, an Action News special, is sponsored by Northgate Lincoln Mercury, committed to your satisfaction. Winn-Dixie, America's supermarket.
It is the largest theater complex in the South. Many of those who helped get it built will be here tonight for the gala.
A lot of people arriving now. It is a black tie event, and you know, people are paying $1,000 a couple for this. Good evening, everyone. I'm Cheryl Brown.
I'm John Wilson, and welcome to the lobby of Festival Hall, the largest of the three theaters in this beautiful complex that will cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $60 million when all the bills are paid at the end of this year. This is going to be an unprecedented night at the theater. After a series of shakedown performances this month in all three theaters, the patrons here tonight, who paid that hefty price tag of $1,000 a couple, will be seeing entertainment in all three theaters. It's a kind of progressive dinner, if you will.
It is going to be an evening of evening gowns, lots of sequins and tuxedos. You look wonderful, by the way.
Well, so do you.
Well, thank you very much. There's going to be a lot of entertainment, as John said. We're going to go from theater to theater, show you a preview of what's to come. So first, let's start with the Playhouse, Al Rochelle and Jackie Bales.
John and Cheryl, welcome to the lobby of the Playhouse Theater. A theater with 900 seats, but it's still said to be very intimate, and that intimacy is going to be tested tonight, Jackie.
Absolutely, Al. We're going to show you how versatile this theater is with two very different types of performances. One, a brand new musical that is bound for Broadway.
And two of the world's best actors from the Royal Shakespeare Company of Stratford-upon-Avon will be here to really test that intimacy.
We will also interview some of the people who made this beautiful facility a reality. Now over to Bill Murphy.
All right, thanks very much, Jackie Bales. I'm standing in the lobby of the Jabe Theater, the beautiful Jabe Theater, I might add. Later this evening, we'll return here, where we'll meet one of the great jazz musicians of all time. We'll also talk to a couple of folks who love this city so much that they donated $1.5 million to help make all this possible. But for now, let's go to our PM Magazine co-hosts, John O'Connor and Julie Brannon. Folks.
Thank you, Bill. We are located here at the main entrance of the Tampa Bay Performing Arts Center. This, of course, where the guests for tonight's gala are arriving. Great atmosphere out here, a lot of color and pageantry. It kind of reminds me of those old newsreels you'd see of people arriving for the movie premiere at Grauman's Chinese Theater out in Hollywood.
Yes, John, there's lots of excitement in the air tonight. What guests are arriving, they're bedecked and bedazzled, anticipating what I think may well turn out to be the event of a lifetime. In fact, there's lots of fashion on parade here tonight, too.
As a matter of fact, later in tonight's live broadcast, look at how Tampa Bay has dressed itself up for the grand opening.
Meanwhile, back to you, John.
All right, thank you, folks. It's going to be a star-studded evening of entertainment here for the gala opening of the Tampa Bay Performing Arts Center. And not all the stars are performing. Some even get to sit and watch. It's my pleasure to introduce you now to the director of the New York City Opera Company. After so many years, a leading soprano with operas all around the world. You've appeared with so many orchestras. Beverly Sills, welcome to Tampa.
Thank you. It's fun to be here.
You know, at the groundbreaking, you said a lot of things that were important about preserving the state of the arts and advancing it here with this Tampa Bay Performing Arts Center. Were you convinced it was really going to be built?
Well, yes, with my hard hat on, yes, I was, because I really think there is such a thing as American know-how. We've never been able to rely on our government to pay for things in the arts, so we have learned how to do it ourselves.
You've done so much for opera, not only in your career as a leading soprano, but as director of the New York City Opera Company. You brought the subtitles in, allowing folks who didn't understand Italian or French or German to see what's going on. I wonder what you might say to folks in the Tampa Bay area who are watching you now to encourage them to come and see the opera.
I think you should try it. You know, we are by nature an adventuresome people. We're a young country. And it's a very exciting world out there called the performing arts. We're just as smart as anybody in the whole world. And there are an awful lot of people enjoying performing arts. And I don't think you should be frightened of it. I think if you hear beautiful singing, look at a beautiful painting, hear fabulous drama going on stage, we're all intelligent enough to absorb that. Got to bring the world.
Indeed. Your company is doing La Boheme tonight. I can't wait.
Well, we're looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, Beverly Sills.
Thank you.
Now, in just a moment, we're going to meet a couple who've had a theater named after them here at the Tampa Bay Performing Arts Center. They donated more than $1.5 million. Marina and Robert Jabe. Back in a moment. It's a night that many people have been waiting for a long, long time, and none any more than the man you're about to meet with Cheryl Brown.
Thank you very much, John. With me now is David Midland, who is the executive director of the PAC, and you have been living and breathing this for the past 5 years, so you must be standing here with
a lot of relief as well as a lot of pride.
I tell you, it is just a wonderful moment, I think, for the whole community to be able to see this whole project that has been, you know, not just the last 5 years, Cheryl, but for many, many years, people's dream come into this sort of reality tonight.
How does this entire complex compare technically to the other PACs around the country?
Well, I think the best barometer of that is the performers, and the performers who've been here through our preview season and tonight, who they've been rehearsing over the past 3 days, tell me that they really think it's just a terrific facility.
This is really state-of-the-art, though, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think it's really going to help us in terms of bringing in any sort of attraction, any sort of artists from all over the world.
What about competition? We don't have too many PACs, do we now?
Well, but we do have, I think, a very growing and dynamic community, and I'm talking about the whole Tampa Bay community right now. And I think that one of the things that people are really going to look forward to is the opportunity to have access to the different types of performances and to be able to go to them in their separate communities or on the date that they prefer.
Now, how do you balance local versus out-of-town performers?
Well, in our first few years, about 50% of the performers or performances are going to be local performances, and the other 50% are going to be touring attractions. So that I think that that is a good balance, not that just that it's 50-50, but also in terms of giving opportunities to the many local groups that are going to benefit by this place.
Okay, David Midland, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on a job well done. Back to you, John.
Thank you, Cheryl and Mr. Midland. And high on the list of founders that we'll be talking about tonight are the Jabes, for whom a theater has been named here at the Performing Arts Theater. It's the smallest of the theater, but one of the most unique theater complexes in the world. And we'll show you why now, because we're going over to Bill Murphy. Bill?
All right, John, thanks very much. As you might imagine, there is great excitement here at the Jabe as well. And as you said, it is a smaller theater, about 300 people. As a result, it is an intimate theater for the kinds of things of cabaret shows, perhaps comedy groups, musical soloists, small musical groups, that type of thing. Also, by the way, it is the only theater where food and drink will be performed, will be served. When I eat and drink, it's a performance. We have for you now some very, very special guests, as a matter of fact. Robert and Lorena Jabe, who, as you said, John, donated $1.5 million, the largest single private donation to this theater named for them. Good evening, thank you, and congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
How are you feeling tonight now that it is all done, the reality has set in, and here you are, in fact, in the Jabe Theater? It's got to be a wonderful feeling.
It's great, really great. I think they did a great, wonderful job with it.
I would think that a lot of people would wonder, when you hear the sum, $1.5 million, what made you decide, and I don't think anyone's complaining, by the way, to give such a large and generous donation?
It was our personal gift to the community and to the Tampa Bay area.
Yes, it was an opportune time. We had just sold our company, and we were cash poor. Suddenly we had some real assets, and also I've read many times that cities are rated by the quality of life based on having an art center and so on, and we thought it was a very good time. The community was very good to us, and we felt we had to give something back to the community.
Now, look, I know you want to get back into the performance. I just have to ask you one more question, and this is kind of a personal question, but here you are. The theater bears your name. You've given $1.5 million. Did you guys have to pay to get in tonight?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
We can check your ticket stubs if necessary, yeah? Mr. and Mrs. Jabe, great thanks and congratulations, and thanks for taking a moment to visit with us tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You know, as the Jabes return to the performance, in performance tonight at the Jabe, Dr. Billy Taylor, actually the Billy Taylor Trio. I think you know Dr. Billy Taylor, considered an elder statesman of jazz, a versatile jazz pianist, composer, arranger. He's recorded more than 30 records. He has written books, songs, on and on. You also know him from his work on CBS Morning with Charles Kuralt. He started his music career at the age of 7. He's performed with really the great jazz legends of all time, such as Billie Holiday, Dizzy Gillespie, Coleman Hawkins, Roy Eldridge, and Charlie Parker. A day or two ago, I had a chance to visit with him, and here's part of our visit with Dr. Billy Taylor.
Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the governor of the state of Florida, the former mayor of the city of Tampa, the man who got this thing rolling back in 1979, 7 years ago. Governor?
Well, it's great to be home. It really is. And the excitement here, and as I said yesterday, I'm just proud to be here as a native of Tampa and see what the people of Tampa did through their private givings and the city of Tampa's financing. And it's going to be a mark not only for Tampa, but obviously for the entire west coast of Florida.
Knowing what you've had to do in encouraging private development in the city of Tampa before you left Tampa and moved to Tallahassee, I know that was the critical part of getting this going. But how did you reach that point, Governor, where you were able to put together a financial concept that other mayors were unable to do?
Well, sometimes the timing has to be right, and we had a couple of false starts, but I was very fortunate to select H.L. Culbreth in the private sector to be the chairman of the study committee, which later became the Tampa Bay Performing Arts Center. And although we had a false start, again with sales tax, we came up with a very innovative way of financing the city's portion. And therefore, that marriage between the private sector giving, which is my understanding, $22 million today, and the city's financing made possible a majestic facility for all the people, regardless of their background in life.
I would only add to that, as an observer, that you tapped into people who get things done in the city of Tampa.
That's true. Other than my attending some performances every year, H.L. Culbreth and I were not necessarily the people that quite understood what the arts were all about. But we had one thing in common. We believed that the people of Tampa deserved one and worked together to get it done. And he recruited a team of people that were resolute to getting it done and raised the money and gave it the prestige that it was needed.
Governor, welcome back home, and thank you for being with us.
Good to be here.
Thank you, Governor Bob Martinez. Now to Cheryl.
Okay, thank you very much, John. With me now is Tampa Mayor Sandy Freeman. Thank you for being here. I know that you are one of the original board members, so you must have so much enthusiasm and pride and everything.
I can't even begin to tell you how I feel. I haven't been able to take this grin off my face for days, Cheryl. It's a wonderful happening for Tampa. Really one of Tampa's finest hours.
Well, what will the impact be, both culturally, economically, for Tampa and the Tampa Bay area?
Well, it's going to be wonderful for the local companies that now have a home in which to perform and will be able to build an audience and educate an audience. And it'll be wonderful to have those touring companies that we could never attract before here on the cultural side. And then in addition to that, we'll be able to attract corporate relocations that we could never touch before because we now have the cultural facilities. So it's a win-win all the way around, culturally and economically.
Okay, thank you very much for being with us tonight. John?
Thank you, Cheryl. Just talking to Congressman Mike Bilirakis and his wife. Among the dignitaries who are here tonight, there are many. And fashion is... Also in here tonight, patrons are going to be able to hear Mozart, Wagner, and Strauss. It will be the music of the Florida Orchestra, conducted by Maestro Julius Riddell. Listen. This is going to be a double dose of excitement for patrons and members of the Florida Orchestra. They are performing in their new home in Tampa. The main orchestra pit is raised to the level of the main stage and larger than most stages itself. The backdrop is a giant wooden curtain, a wall that will be raised for stage productions like the ballet and opera tonight. And the orchestra will perform for a prestigious guest conductor. For 22 years, director of the New York City Opera. He's conducted major orchestras all over the world. A native of Vienna, Austria, Maestro Julius Riddell. Not only is it impressive with 2,400 people, is what Festival Hall is all about. Contrasted with full orchestra, a soft piano concerto during a warm-up performance last week was a standout. Our microphone is in the back of the theater. The orchestra began tuning up for tonight's gala weeks ago, eager to get on the main stage even before the dust had settled from construction work.
It feels great.
It's a few minutes before the formal opening of the Tampa Bay Performing Arts Center here tonight. The lobby here in Festival Hall, the largest of the three theaters, is just about jammed packed with people who have paid $1,000 a couple to be here. And they're going to see, as we have shown you in the past 45 minutes, opera, jazz, classical music, ballet. It's probably one of the most unprecedented evenings of entertainment that we'll ever have an opportunity to see here in the Tampa Bay area at one time. What it means is this is the kind of entertainment you'll be able to see here at the Tampa Bay Performing Arts Center, which is Certainly a stunning compliment to the existing theaters here in the Tampa Bay area. We're going over live now to Jackie Bales. Jackie?
John and Cheryl, we have located H.L. Culbreth, who is one of the people behind actually behind this beautiful facility coming to a reality. Mr. Culbreth, thank you so much for joining us.
It is great to be with you.
You must be incredibly proud. I know you were in on this from the very beginning when it was just a gleam in the eye, so to speak.
It's been about 8.5 years, and a lot of people have had a lot of fun, put in a lot of work, and here we are tonight having a great gala.
You know, so many people say the Tampa Bay Performing Arts Center is important because it will be an economic benefit to the city. I know you have something else to add to that, right?
Oh, yes. It'll be an economic benefit, but most importantly, it is going to make our city a different city. We will be a better city 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and as our children and our grandchildren grow, they will be better people and live in a better environment because we have the Tampa Bay Performing Arts Center.
I think everybody here tonight would certainly agree with you. We thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jackie. Nice being with you.
Terrific. So, Cheryl, there you have it. Back to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Culbreth is certainly one of the many men who's made all of this possible, and they are celebrating tonight. But here's a question for you. What do you feed 1,400 people or so in a party like this? Let's go for the answer to Julie.
Well, the crowd is taking its position now, taking their places, filing into the lobby. Special accommodations are being made, by the way, for disabled, which is a new feature of theaters being built around the country, and it's accommodation that's welcome and long overdue. People from all walks of life are here, but particularly those who are paying $1,000 a couple, which eliminates just about everybody else. But this night is for those folks who have worked hard and have been close to this campaign, which is now totaling about $60 million over what amounts to about 7 very real years of planning and construction, and then it can be dated back 10 to 12 years when the idea was conceived.
It really is amazing when you stop and think that it was first, what, a $12 million project, and then it grew with all the people getting so interested in it into a $57 million project.
I think they were very smart. They began thinking about the future, and Zeb Buffman, the Broadway producer here, says you folks should look carefully at the size of this theater. It should be much larger to allow the diversity of entertainment and also to provide the producers with the kind of money that's now necessary to pay high-priced talent.
You know, we look at the building, it's so wonderful, but this really is a tribute to the coordination and the compassion that all the people here have here in Tampa Bay.
Well, Tampa Bay, you now have it. The Tampa Bay Performing Arts Center. Thank you from all of us at Channel 10, and good night.